Hello, my name is Deb Flores, and I am the Chief Executive Officer at the Zepf Center. So hello, everyone.
Deb, thank you for joining us today to talk about Sanctuary. So with you, I'd like to ask you just some questions. What made you and the agency decide to start the process of implementing Sanctuary for our agency?
That's a great question, and I would love to take credit for it. However, we really need to thank our clinical people for recommending this trauma-informed approach to managing our organization. And I think sometimes when organizations go through traumatic experiences or large growth or even sometimes some downsizing, there's a need to process through the emotions and the feelings that go along with it. And the population that we work with oftentimes needs an approach that will help them with their recovery. And so when we looked at the Sanctuary model, it was not just a program of the day. It wasn't like using a skill set like motivational interviewing, but it was a true organizational approach to treating everyone, including our patients in the community, from a trauma-informed approach.
All right, thank you. What are some of the needs that Sanctuary can or will address within the agency?
I think the way that Sanctuary helps each of us in our daily lives and how we interact with one another is sometimes people can be easily upset by something someone might say or do. And a lot of times their reaction is, why did this happen? Instead of, I wonder if so-and-so is having a rough day. We don't know what happened to them that made them respond in a certain way. And oftentimes it's the comment like, it's not about you. It's really something that's going on within someone else.
Okay, thank you. Deb, how are we already seeing Sanctuary positively impact the agency?
I think that it's bringing us all together, whether you're a clinical person or a support staff person. We start off with the same framework and the same approach to the way we work with one another. And I know that there has been some really positive and aha moments that people have, especially around the reenactment triangle. Sometimes you wonder, why is someone always acting in this way? And some of it is the tools that we have been able to get as we've been training one another and learning how to really just be humans and interact. And so I think that the positivity that we see are people using their safety plans, that they're able to support one another by saying, can I check in with you later? Is there a way I can support you through the day? And just a lot of these things are things we know, but when you receive it in a way that's more academic in nature, it helps you work together in a positive way.
Great. What are some growth areas, Deb, that you see that Sanctuary can and will address with the agency that maybe hasn't happened yet?
I think as it relates to growth, we need to continue to walk out our Sanctuary principles and our commitments to the patient population that we work with. While we might give each other grace in certain areas, sometimes it doesn't resonate with the people that come in through the front doors. And I think that also ways that we can continue the community conversation, that sometimes people think that they see people with addiction and say, oh, they could make a different choice, or someone who might be living, in the streets, well, they could find housing. I think sometimes there's a lot of judgment, and having a trauma-informed approach will help each of us, work together and kind of work towards the same mission.
Okay. It's, with Sanctuary being a 3-year process for certification, and we're somewhere in year 1.5 because of COVID, what are some success stories or a success story you've seen thus far at this point in our implementation?
We're lucky we have someone on our Sanctuary core team who has already been through the certification at a different organization here in Ohio. And so she really helps us reinforce that this is really a journey. It's not a one day, we're going to fix this and we're going to get our certification, because if we think that it takes 3 years, that is for, let's say, a piece of paper, but it's kind of like our CARF accreditation. That doesn't mean that we stop. We have to continue to work and improve our skills and commit to the trauma-informed approach to working together. So I think that the journey is long, but it really is making a difference in the work that we do. We had an employee that I have a lot of respect for who left the organization, asked if they could come back. And when I talked to them, I said, what's different about us than another provider? And their response was, it's Sanctuary. The trauma-informed approach has really helped me sharpen my tools as a clinician, and it's making a difference in the organization. And I think that sometimes just breakdowns in communication, we've been able to use red flag meetings or to self things, and really understanding the impact of loss. Change is loss. So it doesn't mean that it's a bad change, but it's loss and it's something different. So we always should process through it and be on the same page as it relates to what the self process looks like.
One thing we've learned in this implementation process is that a lot of staff already use a lot of the tools but don't have the shared language. How do you see the shared language, once we can get that fully implemented, having a positive impact on individuals' workflow and the agency's workflow?
I think shared language takes the guesswork out of things. And I think that our commitments to, for example, open communication and using, anytime we try to communicate with all staff, we want to use the shared language so we understand what it is. You know, there's no hidden message in some of my CEO correspondences. It's me trying to be upfront and share information as it becomes available, and really we don't want it to be secretive. This is one of the other big pieces that I felt as the CEO of the organization is there should be no surprises. We do our best to communicate openly and timely. Can we always do better? Absolutely, all of us can do better. And it's just finding the time to make sure that we're communicating and that we're being, we're being a team. And so that's what's really important to me. And I think the shared language helps us understand one another in a way that we don't have to guess was he implying this, or was she trying to tell me something different, that kind of thing.
Great. Deb, thank you for working this into your busy schedule. We really appreciate it, and all the work you do for this agency and as part of the Sanctuary Core team. Just want to remind folks that as you start to see these videos come out in various platforms, that if you have any questions about Sanctuary, to reach out to Deb or to your supervisor, or you can find the list of all the core team members on the Sanctuary tab on ZNet. But if you want to get involved in some way or you want to learn more, please reach out, as this is a really wonderful program. Deb, thank you for your time.
Thank you.